Okay, can you hear me now? All right, good. So what I did was I disabled Audition. So you should be hearing some line interference you otherwise wouldn't be, and that may be as bad or not depending on a variety of factors. We can't hear you. Yeah, I had it muted. I had it muted for a couple seconds. So yeah, let me know how that sounds, how bad it is, and everything, and if the problem comes back or not. So I'm thinking it's a memory issue that's causing Audition to screw up. But if it's something else entirely, then we'll have to. That's the thing about troubleshooting. You have to gradually eliminate the vectors of contagion. So with that, let's cache in our shard. And then, yeah, you probably won't hear it unless you're using headphones in the first place. It's just a constant kind of background noise instead of um, any major deal. And it shouldn't be nearly as bad as it was because you shouldn't have much fan noise. Instead of the PC case being a foot to the right of the, or 2 feet away from the mic, and to the side, it's now about 4 feet away and behind it. So the cardioid thing should take care of that quite a bit.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Buffering now, but it's fine. Okay, good. Yeah, we may not even need, Audition going if it was mostly just case fan noise. Let's pop that up and.
Yeah, that's the question. If there is actual, still the line interference or whatnot that we used to have.
Right.
So if not, then yeah, we can just not do Audition, and suddenly we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, that's the only thing we actually use it for. So.
And it removes one whole step from our prep time. Hooray!
I didn't realize we had the cuffs on. There's probably a better item I could use. Maybe not. Lorax always has background noise anyway. Get an air purifier running. Gotcha. Okay, so now that we have some stuff, let's go ahead and put Ashley in some armor. I think we'll probably do... That may be a little too heavy, but... then we've got... Can we afford gauntlets? We can if they're fake gauntlets. Cool. I'd say we finally have some proper Ashley Graham armor. Won't make her bulletproof, unfortunately, but it means we will have to start using lighter weapons. The days of the... Well, ooh, that could work. I guess for now we'll stick with this. Flamberge bead. That's pretty beastly. Yeah, let me know what weapon if you want me to switch. You want me to use. We have a variety here. For now, I will keep using the Thorned Greatsword for a little bit more. And move on to the next dungeon. Which is going to be Aldia's Keep. I guess I shouldn't say at the very end of the game. We're close to the end. We would have been a lot closer if I remembered we hadn't beaten Velstad yet already. So for this one, Herptero, hello.
Hey,
Praise the
Herptero.
sun. Yeah, I wish we had the webcam up so I could praise it with you. How goes the adventures? Yeah, this is a run I started doing to test out our new ISP. Basically it's the first time we ever ran Scholar in 60 FPS, and
now that we actually have our computer running at full capacity, it's going even better.
right.
You all don't even know how utterly satisfying it is to take a look at OBS and see dropped frames 0
Right.
for an entire stream. When before there was always at least like a 1% loss.
Mm-hmm.
That, and for those of you who haven't played with OBS or anything, they basically have a little square on the lower right-hand corner that's your buffer or status bar.
Mm-hmm.
And it flashes yellow if it's starting to have problems, and it starts turning red if it's buffering to the point that it will start losing frames. Time used to be that we had a glorious, neon Technicolor floor show with, switching from green to yellow to red, flashing between red and yellow. It was great. But now it's all green, and it is incredibly satisfying.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, Cryptero. It looks beautiful. 60 frames, high quality. It's just...
There we go. I could afford to be a little sloppy with him because I knew we had this coming up.
Right.
And actually, I could de-equip that now and do that. But yeah, the idea for this this character is to kind of run through the game, run through the game fairly quickly, try out our new settings, our new setup and everything. Oh, what greatsword is this? This is the Thorned greatsword. You get it from the Looking Glass Knight soul.
That is the Thorn greatsword, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
It's a Looking Glass Knight soul. It's pretty cool. I don't even have the faith to really get the optimal use out of it, and it's still doing okay. I think they nerfed the amount of petrify these guys do, because I was getting pretty hilariously smoked by it originally.
Yeah, I seem to remember the first time that I went through here, there were like statues dotting all over the place.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Another petrified dragon bone.
Yeah, 2 more, and I can upgrade a weapon I can't use for the time being.
Ah, Cryptero always consumes his soul. Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, are you the kind of person that likes just eating the souls to get more souls, or let's go tag the bonfire first? Or because I love playing around with goofy weapons and and just the weird designs that boss weapons tend to have. As that's one thing I really like about them. And that's why I shouldn't be doing 2 things at the same time. Because it's just like, I probably shouldn't have actually rested at that, so now I have to kill these things again. Interesting, I can kill them in 1 swing. And by doing that, I don't risk you getting dogpiled the way I would trying to 2-hand. Yeah, and no bloodstains or messages. I find that really, really surprising. So let me do... I think, what is it under concepts? Comfort, musings. There's an... Oh, it probably is under for... that works. Rotero, for the most part, tries to get as many souls as possible to upgrade equipment and himself. Yeah, I kind of have a routine in these games. I tend to use the souls you get from wandering around to upgrade, to raise my levels. Then I use the consumables only when I need to upgrade weapons, and I just play around with a huge variety of stuff. And playing around and experimenting with different things. It makes the games a lot more fun, and, in my opinion, anyway. And it broadens what you can do with them. Like I know, there's one of my friends I'm doing a let's play of this game with. He was the kind of person that she just likes to max out, take a couple weapons and max them out. And whereas I'm like, I'd rather have a couple I can use, I can just kind of bounce around with. Okay, a little too fast for the parry there. One thing that's kind of amusing is that in the Let's Play, oh yes, so you can't. I don't think you can parry those even when it's AI doing them. I ended up just completely smoking this guy with the malformed skull I just got. There. Because you can tell from the armor, he pretty much has no poise. So you can pretty easily win the stunlock war there. But take some of the fun out of it, though. That's what I was trying to do a little fancier with it and do the parries and stuff. Interesting. Backstep took him through the... I guess he probably has, unlimited... oh, no, you don't. So he probably has, the maximum possible agility for backsteps. There we go. How poor Aslateel, Cryptero said. It's such a shame Audia got hold of him. I didn't really think about it that way. I had thought that he went hollowed after Lucy. He kind of like says he must have been taken by the curse and everything. But it makes sense since you find him here that that could have been what happened to him.
Yeah, could very well be.
I'm probably not going to get all 4 of these things, but then again I might because Ben didn't do it when we were streaming it earlier either.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, each one you light will cause a Forsworn to appear, or Forewarned to appear. Forsworn. We're gonna talk about Skyrim for a little bit now. We're just going to switch games.
Hey, where's Marcraft to talk about it? Wait, or Markarth.
Markarth, right?
You actually got the name right, which actually ruined the joke. Darn it. Ah, well.
I just need a second to buff up.
Also, shouldn't the dragon have lunged by now?
No.
Huh.
Doesn't do it in Scholar.
Wow. I feel a little disappointed.
Okay, he doesn't have so much poise. He can do a jump attack through a 2-handed swing. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have some issues these first couple fights getting adjusting to the fact that I now have a shorter roll and less stamina recovery from wearing the heavy armor. Heavy armor tends to be a disadvantage in Dark Souls 2. Also, I owe Aslateel one for reminding me that backstepping is a thing that exists. That wasn't too bad. Because I never really use it. I'm used to always just rolling through and around enemies and stuff. There is a... Let's go ahead and show him off. There is an NPC over here that if we are in human form when we talk to him, it will... Oh, and I saw the number tick up. Thanks for the follow. I am working on getting Twitch alerts and everything set up, but I have not yet, so I apologize for that.
Yeah. So your shield looks wonderful.
My shield? This shield? What? This? No.
There you
The actual
go.
shield, yeah. Yeah, the Blossom Shield is in Sinner's Rise in Scholar of the First Sin. It wasn't until pretty late in the game, in the original as I recall. I think it was in... I can't remember. Oh, it was you, Cryptera. Thank you. Yeah, everybody's been kind of getting on to me about being a little more professional, getting stuff...
like me.
like my brother, right. By getting things stepped up a bit now that we've been... Actually, our 1-year anniversary as a channel is coming up in July, right? July or August, I think.
I don't remember because I didn't actually really join in until later on with the Dead Space stream.
Well, I'm counting the Roop stream. That was Resident Evil 4 that we started with.
Ah, gotcha.
Because before that, it was Root Gamers, so it was pretty much just me.
Right.
And even then, it wasn't for very long because of all the technical problems we had.
Right.
It's funny, I was cleaning up my archives and stuff, and finding a bunch of things from, like a bunch of one-offs I did back in... This guy's got a Cian's Halberd, which is not something you toy with. A bunch of stuff from back in, like, May and June of last year. I say as I then proceed to toy with it. And like a Alpha Protocol one-shot and Mass Effect 2 and stuff like that I did one time, and then like the computer would die or something else happened. I didn't get back to it. There we go. That was a bit of a mess. I think I will explore the rest of this later after I get to the bonfire. I'm still adapting. And I should have buffed up my sword too, for that matter. And I'm unpetrifying this guy because he gives you a fancy hat. I think I need to switch the order I have these things in. As we have Scholar, have we played around with the 3 DLCs any?
Let me tell you about the DLC. I did play... What was the one that I got?
Sunken King.
Sunken King. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the...
There was, in fact, no king involved.
Well, the crown of the Sunken King.
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, I did Sunken King on my playthrough, and Yeah, what was her name? I just remembered her as the queen.
Yeah, Squalid Queen Alana
Alana, that was
was
it.
Ben's big
Yeah.
stumbling block.
Yeah, I got mauled by her several streams worth.
Right, it wasn't
Just
usually her that was the problem. It was the fact that we had really bad luck with the summons, and we would keep getting Velstad basically.
well, I wouldn't necessarily say that she was innocent in that problem, but yeah, whether it was Velstad, whether it was the skeletons knocking me around or whatever. I never did get the pig summon, which aggravates me.
Right.
But yeah, she completely wiped the floor with me. It was awful.
Right.
And as a result of that, I have not bothered with the other two DLCs.
Well, the funny thing is, we did end up beating her, and
Yeah.
we got to Sin, and that's when you bailed for good.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Let's just go beat the game.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like, because of her, I couldn't do any other DLCs.
Right.
Cryptero hates it the most. Yeah.
Right. Oh, there's another follow there. Thank you. What do you do?
Well, right now it just kind of stands around.
Well, right, yeah, they're petrified right
Right.
now. I mean, what would be the purpose of unpetrifying them? Is, I suppose, the more immediate question. Well, let's find out. How many do we have?
But yeah, it is also just my luck to choose the DLC that is probably the worst.
Right.
Well, maybe at some point, if Wayne continues playing Dark Souls and Scholar, or whether I pick it up again for Turpin, I might go ahead and try the other DLCs. But as for now, I'm actually playing Dark Souls 3, so that's the only Souls I've got in my life right now.
Yeah. I can definitely understand somebody only wanting to do one at a time.
Right. I mean, I gotta kind of have to pace myself a little bit.
Yeah, normally for Thursdays I've been doing Dragon's Dogma. Well, I say normally. I've done it once so far.
Right.
And I decided to, because my sinuses have been so bad this spring, so I take a day off and play and relax with some Souls, which might seem kind of weird, but you can parry these Reaper class weapons, but I find it a bit of a pain to do, especially when it's so easy to bait him into, kind of doing attacks like that.
Right. Sunken is the first DLC, so lore-wise, it would make sense to do that one first. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That was our thought too. We played them in the order they were released, I believe, was our plan.
Well, we played the first one in the order it was released.
Right. Oh, Thorn Greatsword at risk. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Geez, what do we replace this with?
Dragon's Dogma is very similar to Dark Souls, I would argue. The major difference is that you basically have a permanent assist, actually a permanent 3 assistance, now that I think about it.
Right.
And it is a little more based on the action and classes, and a little bit less on the footwork and parrying and things like that. That's still the same general idea.
I think we just have to accept this thing is going to get broken. Either it's going to get broken or we are.
Right. You don't have another weapon handy?
Oh, there we go.
There you are.
No, I don't. The fact I could switch to in a short amount of time. Well, now I've done it.
Dark Souls 3 is... How do you even pronounce that? B-A-E? Bay? Bye?
I think it's Bay. It's like what's that,
I was
like,
saying, yeah.
better than everyone or something like that.
Right.
There's a term for that.
I just don't know how it goes.
Yeah, backstabs are immune to durability. I was trying to see if I could pull one off, and I guess we can show off what happens when a weapon is broken. You take a look at that and see it's all dinged up and scratched now that it wasn't before.
Zane confirms Bay.
Bay.
The way they tied everything together was so masterful. I haven't actually gotten that far into it. I haven't even gotten to the first. What are they called? Ashen Lords? Whatever they're called.
Vensa is a form of a babe, and it has been backronymed back into. I heard it's like some better blank everything or something like that. But yeah, so okay, chat confirms that was a backronym, and it's short for a babe. Fair enough. Babe is already a one-syllable word, though.
Of course, Zen calling it a slur for babe makes me imagine, as an insult for children.
I was saying, so technically in a different language, it meant something not family friendly.
Ah.
So I guess that's
Lords of Cinder, that's right.
Yeah. That would take us above 83. Let's do... I kind of wish I could just make her the Keyblade Master for now, but we don't have the decks for it. What can we even use here? I don't think I have anything else upgraded as part of the problem with this. No, I don't. Okay, let's do... you know what? I think I've got the shards and the souls for it. Let's go ahead and get her the Zweihander. I guess I could fix a foreign greatsword too. You know, I've been meaning to use the Royal Greatsword of the Flamberge for a while now. Why not now?
Now's your chance. Go for it.
Exactly. Let's go do that. Slur the abbreviation. Okay. Yeah, I don't keep up on those things. I leave keeping track of that stuff to Ven, and then he'll tell us.
That is one thing that I kind of like about having a involved chat and things like that. Is that whenever there's anything that goes on, somebody is going to know, and they will be happy to share it with us, and thence is shared to everywhere else.
Indeed.
The embedded lore-wise, sorry, never made sense to me.
Yeah, they kind of give a hand wave as to what's up with him. The once human embedded, bound himself eternally with chains. That's a trick right there.
Right. And bury it within his bosom.
And even then, you can't do it right because you stick it in his head to kill him.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I guess it's one of those things. As you jam the key into his face, I never asked for this.
Yeah, I mean, he was waiting for somebody to, jam it into his chest and everything else, waiting for years and years and years. Finally, somebody comes along and does it wrong.
You had one job.
Right. And Ven points out, whenever we're wrong about something, we'll know it in short order.
Oh,
Ain't that the truth?
I'm sure.
But no, actually, that is... it's kind of weird to say it, but I'm actually kind of glad for that. Because, especially when it's on the technical side of things, but also, for anything else. It helps to have people to, point out when something's incorrect, when something's gone wrong. Or even just, to call attention to things. Because even if I end up disagreeing with the fact that it's, whether it's a problem or not, just having something called attention to, helps out.
Right.
So
I'm doing noticeably less damage than I was with the foreign to greatsword.
this isn't upgraded, is it?
Well, the Flamberge is plus 10.
Oh. Huh.
Okay. The Greatsword Forlorn are interesting because they tend to be more PvP focused, it feels like. If their poise is higher and they do a lot more rolling and backstepping and stuff.
Yeah, I seem to remember I actually did fight this one. I think I actually did do the Light with the 4 with Turpin. Mm-hmm. So I remember fighting this guy and he kept dodging my lightning spears and I was very aggravated.
Right. Let's see, you can actually use the sconce for cover there. Now what you're going to do.
Zane says, thankfully, when he streams, he is never wrong.
Aha. As the buff wears off. Doesn't that figure?
Cryptero points out the Flying Birch honestly doesn't scale well.
Yeah, I noticed it was like, it started off at ended up with S in Dex.
That would do it.
For some reason, I thought it was going to end up with like C and C or B and B in something, and that would have been a lot more useful. Well, that's unfortunate.
What is the third upgrade stat from the left? Because I would find it kind of amazing if you could have a BAE upgrade tree.
Whoa, geez, what was I even being hit with there?
I don't know, but you got completely mauled.
That was like dog telekinesis there. Canokinesis or something.
That's acid. Don't go in there. Thankfully, it only does item degradation. So.
Right. Yeah, acid will not actually hurt us in any meaningful way once we remove our gear.
Which is kind of silly if you think about it, but
right. Okay, this time let's not do whatever happened there.
You might also want to actually purchase some arrows that aren't expensive.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure we could actually set up a weapon that's BAE, especially if we get something with good. Like I imagine a cestus we scaled or we enchanted with something that would. I'm not sure, but yeah, something that scales well with strength and dex, and then.
Zane says, acid will hurt you where it counts. The wallet. Also, Cryptero points out that little broken part just to the left of the door you can shoot through.
Interesting. Thank you. I didn't even think about that. Once I'm not taking like 400 points of damage a swing from an attack I can't see, then I think we'll be fine with the dogs. But I think what was happening there is it was starting the animation for its side swipe attack, but the hitbox is such that it hits you very early in the move. Then it just didn't finish playing the rest of the attack, which let him keep doing more stuff. And while we're doing our fan service, let's make sure we got our skin back on. I don't remember what's even in here. I know Soul Geyser is in here, which is worthless to us. Of course, I guess you could joke and say that after the patch, Soul Geyser is worthless to everybody, but... Sweet Chaos. Asking a great question for a name like Sweet Chaos about invading. No, Dark Souls 2 uses a system, and they asked, is your soul level, is it level plus 10%, etc. for invader level. They use a system called, let me see if I get the mouse to show up.
Soul Memory, isn't it?
Yeah, Soul Memory, which is stat right here in the top right. And and then the mouse should fade away. As soon as there we go. And yeah, you have to be within a certain range of that.
What is the range?
Basically, the number you have corresponds to a tier, and the tiers get longer as you progress further in the game.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's kind of its own little weird system.
Zane insists it is a horrible system.
I'm not a fan, I got to admit.
See, I kind of like the idea behind it. Because, unlike Wayne, I am not a big PvP fan. But when I do PvP, I don't always PvP, but when I do, I prefer to fight against people that aren't, hilariously overleveled or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or alternatively, that I have a bit more of a chance with.
Right.
But, yeah, it didn't do very well for that particular purpose.
Yeah. It was just so easy to exploit. Ooh,
right.
Hello. I don't think it's actually, any good, but... It is not any good, in fact, but...
But it looks kind of neat.
I wanted to wield a bone shield in my left hand and a malformed skull in my right hand.
Just be the bone guy?
The bone zone.
Cryptero concurs, does not like the system at all.
Let's just go ahead and get you to help out here instead of doing...
You can just whack the thing, can't you?
I could. Alright.
The fact that you have to rely on a troll to break that down is...
Mm-hmm.
Or a Hippoclops, as I think Lorax pointed out. There you go.
Also, I don't think he did it. Yeah, one of them that breaks through there. It turns out he actually reveals what's in those carriages, and they're basilisks. Matter of fact, let's see if we can get. Yeah,
there it goes. That is such a disappointment.
Right. You think of anything to be in there, but.
Yeah, it's like anything could be in there, but it's a basilisk.
And yeah, I'm moving him back this way so that he doesn't get so far as to knock the other Hippoclops down. Arg. Not a total bust. I did get to see that incredibly goofy, animation and the knockback, but... Oh, another follow-in there. Thank you. Yeah, again, like I said, if you weren't there when I said it earlier, I feel bad about not having... Because I had Twitch alerts loaded, and I was just too busy to finish setting it up. the Bode Zone, Cryptero thumbs up. Yeah, I picked that up for the first time when I was watching a friend stream Demon Souls, and he referred to that in World 4.1. Yeah, I like Lorax's theory. The basilisk is there to make up for the small eye on the one hippo, bug-eyed little freaks. Because, yeah, 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 those are not actually their eyes. The basilisk's eyes are right there. I think you get a good look at that. So, if your mind was blown by that revelation, you're welcome. Whoops, wrong one. Didn't realize I still had my... Excellent. Ah. Always awkward trying to time the parries on these guys. Armor may have actually helped me on that one. Yeah, they must have just given the Forlorns like pretty much maximum agility.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I still remember when Mog sent in her footage for our LP and basically just showing up to... I think it was in Black Gulch with the child goalie, showed up and basically just ran up and comboed her to death. Just right from... Just walked up and chained her to death with her giant axe. And it was like, yeah, speaking of Dark Souls 2 PvP... Yeah, if you get hit by the first attack, you're pretty much going to get hit by at least one more, unless your attacker is out of stamina. That time I waited for him to finish rolling around, and got him. The last one should have... Yeah, now that the last one is dead, I can run back and show what happens. Cryptera, wait, what? The huge things aren't their eyes? My life is a lie.
Yeah, they're kind of like the big spots on butterfly wings. You're supposed to think they're the eyes, but they are not.
But they're not. Yeah, Gazane said they're to intimidate predators. Yeah, those are the things on it. Yeah, those are the actual things on its head. It's there to kind of draw. It's because petrifying things. Yeah, like having your life, kind of torn apart and turned to stone isn't bad enough.
Can you try to find the real eyes on that thing now that it's closer?
Right there.
Yep, right there.
Yeah,
the other option, and this is just me kind of thinking out loud, there are some creatures that have, I want to say it's like a kind of snail or something like that, that actually has, what looks like either eyes or something else. Mm-hmm. And the idea is that, it is actually supposed to have predators grab at the wrong thing, thinking that they're disabling it, which gives it the chance to run away.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I imagine that's probably what's going on with the basilisk. They have these huge eye-looking things that are supposed to, have people attack that thinking they're going to blind it. Right. Because that's what everybody does with giant monsters, by the by.
Right.
And, yeah, it doesn't hurt it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I actually ended up underneath it. Yeah. I'm amused that that's a thing that can happen with the hitboxes, but there we are.
So yeah, you all learned a biology lesson and a new Dark Souls thing that you might not have known.
Ooh.
That's what you get when you join this kind of stream.
Oh, you even taught Ven a new fact about critters. And normally that's Ven teaching us about those things.
Right. I like Cryptero's theory. Since the Forlorn and the Keep, they could be part of Aldia's experiments and kindled souls brought under his command. Yeah, it's certainly possible.
Yeah. That's my going theory. It's like, yeah, they're things that are...
I think he doesn't like you having the bone shield.
What's that? Oh, well. Who doesn't like us having the bone shield?
The dragon.
Oh, yeah, right. That was my buddy.
Yeah, Ben was referring to the basilisks.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I'm sure he already knows about the thing that Ben was referring to. But yeah, you've all learned something today. Oh, Zane said you didn't activate that. All right, I just did now. You have to kill the four forlorn, and then that thing will activate, and then you get the Aldia key. Which already, yeah. I just did that. I don't know when I started kind of turning this into a 100% run, but here we are. I guess when we got to Aldia's Keep, and Ben and I were talking about our previous experiences, it was like, oh yeah, we didn't actually do any of this stuff as Turpin.
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure we actually did do the Forlorn thing.
We did eventually?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it just seems really, really familiar. Zane's used to being activated from the word go.
Scholar changed that. In the later part of the game, they just started like, yeah, I think what happened is they started off, just kind of making, fairly understandable changes. Like you had, hey, why aren't there any Haid Knights in Haid's Tower? It's like, okay, fair enough. That's a great question, in fact. And then they started getting into Undead Crypt, and there's invisible zombies. And then you get to Aldia's Keep, and there's respawning mimics in the experiment room. And yeah, it's just, and then the whole thing of you take the giant spooky statue, and then you just completely change how it works. I I don't know. Yeah, it is basically Kaizo Souls 2. He actually opened up with a shield bash. You normally, that's the way you're going to be about it. I meant to do having the guard break kind of mapped to the same button. We just have to push forward is kind of obnoxious. Cryptera really wishes it added all the cool stuff to the 360 version. Yeah, if I remember right, didn't the 360 and PS3 versions just have the bug fixes and the weapon rebalancing and stuff? They didn't actually change the stages like they did in the full version. Oh, ouch. Okay, I'd say it's about time to get out of here. Use our last flask, and the fact that Warlock can shoot you from all the way across the room with bolts that travel about half that far when you use them is just the DLC and the patches. Gotcha. Did the console Scholar at least include the DLC as key items instead of having to pay for them separately? Where am I at? There we are. I know he's going to start using his breath weapon. Although, that means I've pretty much got him.
That said, that is one thing that I have to say about, the upside of being more so now a PC gamer. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that, you get stuff like this, and some companies just do not support consoles well at all.
Right. It gives it to you as soon as character creation is over. Yeah, in this version of Scholar, what you have to do. He's going to use the Wrath of the Gods. No, he's not. You have to find the 3 key items somewhere in the game. The last one for the Ivory King DLC is in Drangleic Castle, for example. Pull the lever. What will this do? Let's find out. Okay. I'm sure that did something. I'm not sure what, but we will find out. And yeah, these are all this room.
All mimics.
All 3 of these chests are mimics. They drop, I believe they drop petrified somethings and stuff. Ooh, that's quite the... Alright. Oh, okay, so they dropped that. That's not bad, actually.
I still had to adventure through the game to access them.
Okay, yeah, right. Nice. I really need to watch my stamina against those guys. I keep thinking I don't have to, because you always have time to get away, right? And, not so much, as it turns out. Because you always want to have enough for 2 rolls away from their swings. Or that. 2. There we go. What the? Where'd that mimic come from? Oh, did the lever release a bunch of mimics?
Looks like it released
a bunch everything.
Of stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's even that one, Franken Undead.
Well.
Huh.
I guess just pull them one at a time if you want to.
Yeah, I'm thinking... I'm thinking maybe I'll run for the door, run around here, and let's clear the path to the boss, and then and then withdraw and try to do that with fresh Estus and everything.
Yeah, I don't think Aldia would have birthed the mimics because there are so many of them. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were part of they were actually being actively studied.
Right. You got to think about it. If Aldia is kind of like magic, mad science and stuff,
Right.
So the idea of analyzing these kinds of predators, that wait for their prey the way that certain plants and stuff do in real life, that'd definitely be something that you'd want to study.
Then again, maybe Aldia was just looking for items for the undead and was just trying to get their covetous head thingy to drop.
Oh yeah, yeah, the symbol of avarice.
Right.
Yeah.
Cortero wishes you good luck after it released all of the monsters.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'm going to bail on this one.
Yeah, this might not have gone exactly according to plan.
Yeah, I don't think Mog pulled the lever when she did this one, and I don't think you did either. So.
I think I would have remembered releasing everything.
Everything, right.
Because that's the sort of thing that gets me to freak out. So.
Okay, so how are we going to do this? What we're going to do, hello, is a run straight across. Door's still open, good. Great, everything's out. Oh man, I have a lot of souls. I probably should not be risking this. Oh dear. Oh, I don't even have a pyro hand equipped, I don't think, for this. Let's put that on while...
This is why you don't attack these things. Lorax thought I was the chicken. Shame on you, Wayne.
I have my limits. I think that's the thing.
I admit, if I was playing this one, I think that might have been a time where I would have done the whole "ora ora" and totally gone after them.
Well, it's not that I couldn't do it. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could totally do it. Absolutely.
But I wanted to leave the possibility open of beating the game tonight. And that probably would not happen if I spent, however long it would have taken just to kill all of these tough enemies. And then... done. So you're gonna be this way about it, huh? Okay. I believe you can get right underneath them and still be safe. Yep. Let's recast that.
You can't break his tail, right?
No, unfortunately. You can be close. Yeah, you can still attack it and do full damage. But...
Right, but you don't cut it off or anything.
Right.
Oh, Cryptera says this, along with Covetous Demon, was the most disappointing fights.
Yeah. It is probably the easiest dragon in any Souls game. And Gaping Dragon, probably once you've got a handle on him, is pretty good too. But
I think even I didn't have a whole lot of problems with him.
Right.
Then again, I had a pretty good build for him.
Like it's just too forgiving. Like I had no business making it past that one unscathed because of how long I waited to actually trigger it. But yet, there we are.
Right.
Okay. That's probably too far. At least I got enough stamina to run all the way across if I need to. You are being a jerk about this fight, Guardian Dragon. You're only going to die tired. Okay. Oh, there we go. Didn't actually waste my time with the breath that time. One more of those, and I'm pulling my bow to finish this one. There we go.
There you are.
Aldark is saying this fight is over so much faster than the Bone Dragon thing in Rune Factory 3. Oh, yeah. If you all haven't been seeing... Well, of course, a lot of you are new. Obviously, wouldn't have been seeing those.
Right.
But yeah, last Friday, I got the second boss in Rune Factory 3. And I don't know how long it took in real time, but it was 10 game hours worth of boss fight.
And you have not lived until you have seen a golden sheep flailing at a bone dragon. It is amazing.
Or a zombie dragon fight is super easy in Breath of Fire 3. I've never actually played any of those, Zane. But yeah, Cryptero mentioned he used a chariot crossbow to kill him while he was in the air. Yeah, it's like I didn't even remember until halfway through. That's like, oh yeah, I do have a bow. Well, part of the problem is it's very minimally upgraded, so I didn't figure it would do much damage. But yeah, if you have a ranged weapon, lightning spears, a bow, then yeah, that'll make it go much faster. Play 2 to 4 and not 5, as Zane says. What's the one that was like Dragon Quarter or something? Was that any good? Or was that one of them? That seems to be a name I remember.
The curse. Long have I awaited one such as you.
What do we do here, I wonder?
One who might shatter the shackles of fate. One who
oh.
can set me free. Bearer of the curse.
Deal with the keyboard here.
Station that led you here. The
Oh, you're a little off center.
has watched over the world for eons
Oh, there we
past.
are. Kind of.
Take this.
As your head bobs back into frame, you can see the eyes.
Do not resist.
Okay. They're the one's purple though. You have to take my word for it, but
It's purple, I swear.
I swear.
Did you get the H feather?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah. I think she just gave it to me, but yeah.
Okay.
Emerald Herald's story is a sad one, Cryptera says, as are many. As I was about to say, it has earned the dark fantasy name.
Right. Granted, most of them are happy stories until you get to them.
5 is Dragon Quarter, Zane says. That's the bad one. Okay. Yeah, I remember hearing that, but I wasn't sure if that's the one you were thinking of.
And by that I mean most of them are fine until you murder them. So.
Let's re-equip our chime. And one thing that Scholar did, and I'm sure this will also be new to those of you who've only played the original, is the ladder starts kicked down. That means you can explore area from the back and go fight that one dragon on the ground for your first dragon, or you can just skip entirely and go to Dragon Shrine, which is what we're going to be doing. Because I want to make sure we can cover that before Ben has to go to bed tonight.
Which is actually going to be really soon.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it won't take too long. The new gimmick won't take too much to show off. And like as Zane said, not a bad one, messes with system. Gotcha. So it's just not the same kind of game as the others, right? And to be fair, a lot of the people are going to go insane with or without you, right?
This is true.
Yeah, for Kale, for example, that's kind of the... I don't remember where it comes from. TV Tropes calls it the Shaggy Dog story. That's not the one I want. I want to go... Oh, it's that zip line from up top. Right, so I just have to work my way back around and go back up. But yeah, it's like you go through the story, you invest in it emotionally, you want to help the guy out, and in the end, it all goes bad anyway. Like Kale completes his map and goes hollow at the end anyway. It's just kind of unfortunate. Cryptero says Lucatiel is his favorite. Yeah, Ben's with you on that one. Lucy was.
Yep, I do love me some Lucy.
Yeah, I like her too. Oh, also, I've had this one whenever we get to it in our LP, which is on our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. But you can, if you do enough damage, if you wait here on the bridge long enough, it'll happen anyway. But doing damage to the eggs and attacking the dragons will shorten the timer. But a dragon will land on the bridge, smash it, and kill you, which I love that they do that. The zip lines don't make any sense, Zane says. Yeah. Oh, look at that. The cute little baby Audia head. You have to imagine, like, as he starts to pop his head out, it's like they put a bonfire here. Yeah, I'm really surprised that Scholar didn't put it like right here on the outside, like they did for Undead Crypt. But
Right.
or maybe not, maybe knock out that wall, do a little interior decoration, you know. So you kind of see his like face move. But let me try to zoom in. I'll let him talk a little bit more than I normally would, because some of you are new to Scholar. Yeah, and this is his last appearance before the boss fight, actually. And this is the Scholar. This is Aldia. He is a Scholar of the First Sin, and he basically talks about the nature of the undead curse, attempts to break it, and how nope, you're born this way.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting that, Aldia apparently has fully embraced the idea that, once you're cursed, that's it, and you might as well have fun with it.
Right.
In essence. Aldia kind of reminds Cryptero of a giant tree.
Yeah, yeah. If you haven't seen the boss fight for him yet, that's kind of the image they evoke. He has. You have to tell him yes every time, otherwise it's. I guess technically we would have spoiled you. That's Aldia, but. And if the Emerald Herald, I think, I don't know, is the way I'm feeling and everything. It's like I don't remember. I gave you that just a couple minutes ago. Yeah, I'm going hollow, but yeah, she'll talk about Fate as well in her final appearances. Okay. And for Dragon's Dogma, we also talked about cycles of life and rebirth and all that, and Zeus mentioned that it's a very Eastern concept, eternity and all that. Yeah, Cryptero will going into the immersion says Aldia is like a giant tree. Vince's like, are you talking to a hairball? Always keeping it serious, that Venatius. No, he is kind of like a tree creature. It's supposed to be like bark and leaves and just kind of gnarled and stuff like that. It's supposed to call back to the arch trees and stuff like that, I think. And Zane said, yeah, dragons represent life, represent the cycles, life and rebirth in Asia, right? Let's do. I guess might as well get some more points in Dex and start heading that way. Let's see. Yeah, we now have enough to be a Keyblade Master, which I think we'll try that out. Since we can't upgrade it and it's still a good weapon. So, let's see. Flamberge is doing 370. Keyblade is 336. So not quite as good, but, I'll be alright. It would make sense to reference the arch trees, right. Yeah, Dark Souls 2 doesn't really, up until that point. They have... there are a bunch of trees and things betwixt, and I think those are also an arch tree thing. These eternal trees growing out of nothing, as far as you can tell. And how it's a place where souls are gathered. So that kind of all makes sense. Anyway, so like I said, before Ben goes to bed, the gimmick for Dragon's Shrine is completely different. They have the Drake Keepers, and they're about the same as they always were.
That said, you do realize that I played through this myself, right?
Well, no, to the newbies. We have some people that aren't familiar with Scholar.
Fair enough.
Or like in Cryptero's case, are half Scholar, but only the previous generation version of it, which doesn't have this stuff. But yeah, you have the...
So you were saying that you wanted to show this off to them before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Because here I thought you were actually being somewhat kind and, saying, until, before Ben goes to bed, I want to show this off.
Right.
I should have known better.
Well, of course, No, and yeah, you fight the Drake Keeper, same as before, but there are a bunch of dragon guardians, and they are the dragon guys that normally only show up at the very end, the stairs leading to the boss. And they'll kind of... Are you going to do it? You're going to do it? You're not going to do it. Well, you do it if I do it first. No. Screw you then. But yeah, they'll tend to do the dual bow at you. Yeah, there they are. See the guys on the side there? And they're there to kind of like oversee the PvP, I guess. I have to be able to get enough of a breather to actually hit him with the combo. That's the only way to actually do damage with this thing. You know what? Getting the magic buff would be good too. The Hammer Brother enemies are the most obnoxious ones you'll fight in Dark Souls 2. That should go close enough. Yeah, he's trying to back away there. Yeah, Zane. So yeah, they made them non-hostile in this version. 2. Once he's low enough, I think one more combo should do it. Ah. There we go. And then the bonus damage, excellent. We'll finish the job. Yeah, any less damage than that, and it wouldn't have worked. But that being said, if you still want to kill these guys and farm their stuff, you can. Let me rebuff, and we'll take this guy out. I'm not going to fight too many more of them than that, because they aggro in packs, basically. Like, this guy will aggro the one up there behind him. Yeah, like so. They're not too difficult to fight, but they have a fair bit of poise, and it can still be tricky. Bait. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so he had enough poise to actually take that R2 and kind of walk it off. There we go. Now, whichever ones you kill of the teams that will attack you are the only ones that will join the fight. Like whenever I go back up, the two of them that bowed near the Hammer Brother will just go back to doing their thing. You know, they'll no honor among Dragon Bros, apparently. If I wanted to be cheeky, you could say that's kind of a nod to how the Covenant works in game, in that you cannot help each other out. You know, all the duels are one-on-one. Yep. See. Where's the, what you gonna do about it? Yeah, all of the duels are one-on-one in the Dragon Covenant. Which, you know, they kind of make it two-on-one, but... So you might be wondering at that point, what will... I thought there was a dude here. I guess I took him out. You might be wondering at that point what does trigger them, besides attacking him, or besides attacking them. And they will basically join the fight if you summon help, you know, to make it easier. They'll attack you then. If you run past a certain number of enemies before fighting them, you get a little bit of grace. You get a little bit of a grace area, you know, to actually try to get some more tactical positioning. But if you run too far, the groups will attack you. And I don't remember. I thought there was a third thing you could do to aggro them. Cryptera says it's interesting, and the sad thing is he never sees dragon remnant signs here. Well, there's a reason for that. If you mean there as in this area, the reason for that is that a host cannot run into phantoms until they have attacked the ancient dragon. Basically, until then, there's no boss, so it's not a proper, you know, duelist area.
And after that, they're either, you know, rushing over to fight him, or they've beaten him and they never come back.
Right.
So.
And then I think one more combo should do. Yeah, there we are. It's kind of getting a feel for how much extra damage that does. That R2 swing is insane. Also, here's a little Mimic check, too. They took the Mimic out in Scholar. They moved him to... where did this Mimic go? I don't recall. Hey, here's a good example of how this works. So you might be thinking, okay, in here we have the Warpick Drake Keeper. And that guy is a hoss. He is not somebody you want to mess with in close quarters. Okay. Hey, I see a shade there. And he's a fairly useful one. Let's get his help. Well, about that. As soon as he is done being summoned, I may have to wait a little bit for the... Yeah, there we go. Ah, dude, you can't... But yeah, Ray is one of the stronger summons. So the plan here is to get his help to deal with this Dragon Guard and the Drake Keeper, and then unsummon him. Because who needs his help, really? And this is probably the trickiest part of the level, and I hate doing it, because the Drake Keeper is just, yeah. Yeah, Cryptero went the easy way and poisoned the War Pit guy. That's what I do when I'm playing normally. Yeah, see, that's the problem right there. That Shield Bash will guard crush you and leave you open to his combos, whether you block it or not. It's just something that move does. And yeah, so you either get really good at handling him, or you poison him. You pop around the corner, zap him with Toxic Mist, or like when he's here at the room he can't fit through, and then go from there. People says everybody loves Ray. Yeah, everybody loves Bashful Raymond. Now let's banish him, because we don't love him actually. We're just using him. Bye bye. I think this is our third Dragon Ring, which you don't need to kill Villard to get. Not that he's hard, but there we go. All right. I think you can kind of look around the corner, and what I'm kind of tempted to do now is use because I didn't even realize that the key to the embedded had durability. I mean, it makes sense that it does. Everything except Santier Spear does. But I'm kind of thinking I should break the Keyblade, and whenever we go do the key to the embedded, not only jam the key into his head, but a rusted blunt key in his head. Oh, we're terrible. He is a fellow Drake Keeper. He has the Black Dragon shield on his back, and he's using the Black Dragon Greatsword. So yeah, even though it looks kind of like a longsword, yeah, do not underestimate it. I think we're going to take a heal break. Yep, take an Estus break. Fortunately, I am faster on the recovery than him. Oh, hello. Nice. Yeah, it's a good and a bad thing, I think, that Dark Souls 2 implemented proper, animations for turning around instead of just snapping you back and forth. Oh, is it a reference to Calamit's Tale, Zane says? Oh, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, it's like what is it called? The, Abyss Greatsword or something? Something like that. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. That was probably supposed to be a callback to that. Of course, the obvious callback to Calamite in Scholar is, well, not Scholar, but in Dark Souls 2 is Sin. It's got kind of the same kind of, the closest thing I could think of, if you've played, and we're far enough along now, I have to say but if you've played Final Fantasy VII, it's like Bahamut Zero if he didn't have the extra wings. It kind of has that longer, needly kind of shape to him. Obsidian Greatsword, that was it. Abyss didn't sound right, but it was something like that. And here, instead of having a 6-pack of, or I think a 4-pack and then one dragon knight to deal with, you have one tryhard up there, power stancing dragon greatswords, and the rest of them are just a bunch of dragon bros here to watch the fight. Power stancing greatswords look so silly. It's like power stancing the ultras looks silly on purpose. You can tell these are just gigantic weapons. What are you doing, dual wielding them? But the regular ones, they already have that kind of. You can tell they're just too heavy for him. He has to hold one over his shoulder and kinds of swings. You get the same kind of chop, and I mean it's cool how they do stuff like this, but the pokes on this thing are real though. I think we'll use that last Estus as soon as we can bait a move out of him. Yeah, that's the one I was waiting for him to do. It just yeah. Alright. If I get the backstab in time, but there we go. And gotcha. Oh. He rolled out of it. Ah. He's really squirrely with those rolls. There we go. And our last Estus down, but luckily that is the last enemy. Cryptera, that's there are so many knights. Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, now here's the thing: if you run past them and you aggro any of these guys, every single one of them will dogpile you. You could have like 10 knights, and although one time was kind of hilarious, I managed to get up front here, and I still had the Giram Great Shield on from when I fought the Ancient Dragon. So I kind of like I ended up with a bunch of them, like 8 of them bottlenecked here, hit them all with Toxic Mist, and basically did laps around the Ancient Dragon's pedestal while they all died from Toxic. And I think I got one dragon thing up from it, so the drop rate is too low for it to really be practical anyway. Yeah, you apparently can farm dragon scales off of them, but I've never gotten one. And I've killed probably a couple. I've probably killed 30 or 40 of them. That's a great line. Curse of life is the curse of want.
It is very, very Buddhist, and like Zane was saying, that is kind of what dragons do in Eastern.
Right. Okay, that's one hell of a way to do it. Thank you. There was no way I was going to fight them all fairly. All right. So we got that. That will let us go into the dragon memories. And I think with it being almost 10:30, I need to go to bed. Probably a good spot to wrap it up on.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, thanks all for watching. The new people, oh, you didn't even get a notification.
Aw.
Well, I'm glad you're here for the end of it, though. And I mean the end of it. We're signing off.
And for those of you who don't know, Wayne will be playing Rune Factory 3 tomorrow, I believe.
Yes, I'll be back tomorrow night it'll be around 8:30 because I have to work tomorrow evening. But yeah, I'll be back for that. So hope you all can make it if you're into farming.
Yep, and then Sunday afternoon, I'll be playing Awakened Fate
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Then Tuesday, we might be switching off on Tuesday, actually.
Yeah. There'll be Dark Souls 3 and Dragon's Dogma next week. One on Tuesday, one on Thursday. Keep posted on the announcements and schedule on our Twitch channel for that. And I promise they'll be updated properly by the weekend. Yeah, we'll update the schedule this time. I'm sorry, guys. Between being sick and being busy, I just have not had time to tidy things up.
But I will start staying on him until he actually does it. So, pumped up, good to go.
But yeah, and yeah, we're done now. Those of you who will hang on, I'll keep talking for a little bit. Bu was asking, what's the build about? Okay, so long story short, we tested out I have a good night, Cryptero. Thanks. Yeah, praise it, and I'm glad to have you. But yeah, what I did was back when we first started, we got a new ISP. We could finally stream at high quality and 60 FPS. So I decided to.
Or so we thought at the time.
So we thought at the time, right? Yes, we saw some problems. But I went ahead and kind of like talked to the chat about ideas or what to do for a build to celebrate it with, and to pick a game that would show off, how something that would look pretty good. So we ended up with Dark Souls 2 because that was probably the best option we had at the time. And it's like we're still fans of Resident Evil. We were doing I think that was like right after our special or the marathon stream, right? Yeah, so right at the same time, yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley was kind of fresh on her mind, so we went ahead and based. Oh, good night, Sweet Chaos, and thank you. Thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it. So yeah, we ended up having Ashley as our idea here, and we basically just because it was so much fun, had her wielding gigantic weapons. So we started off with the Demon Great Hammer we got from a petrified something, and I think that's actually what inspired it. Like we were originally wanting to have her with knight's armor and a shield and a sword and stuff, because she wore armor and as one of the costume options. And then we ended up getting the Demon Great Hammer. It's like, okay, well now we've got Ashley Graham, the president's daughter, smashing things into pieces with this, there we go, with this. So we ended up going with that instead. And yeah, we've just been playing through the game on a fairly quick pace. And today, now that we finally had our vitality high enough for the armor set and got it, I went ahead and switched to great swords. They're a little bit lighter, so we could actually use them and still have a fast roll. So yeah, this is the Key to the Embedded. It is a Keyblade, and yeah, it is kind of funny how with the Key Sword and the Blossom Shield, it is kind of the Key and Rose Knight. That's a good way to put them together. Unfortunately, the key to the embedded is a key item, and we'll need to use it to progress a plot later. But for now, we're using it as a weapon. So, yeah, that's what's going on with that. It has been, and this is the fifth stream of this one, and I'm probably gonna end up putting it up on YouTube after all. But I just have a miscellaneous Souls games playlist. But I like your name too, man. Anyway, but that will do it for tonight. Thanks all everybody. It's been a lot of fun. They make me feel better with a day like this, and it seems like turning off Audition was the key to our audio problems. So I guess we'll just do that going forward. Nobody seemed to have any complaints with it. So anyway, good night.